Hey cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is General Hospital Edition. Today is Thursday, August the 11th, 2022. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this an 8. Sorry, it is late. Of course, the news interrupted my when I was watching this, and I didn't want to miss anything. I felt like today was an important episode, and I didn't want to miss anything. And I'm glad I did wait to review it because it was good. Like, this is a solid episode. We start off with Lucy and Martin. Sorry, I won't have any clips in this today. It's a little late, and I'm just gonna go through and do a review. All right, so we start off with Lucy and Martin, and he is telling her, "Let's go, let's get out of town, let's go somewhere." And she says, "I can't go anywhere. Deception is all a mess. I have to take care of that. But why do you want to go?" And he says, "Anna is putting pressure on me." And she said, "Oh, it's okay. What kind? She wants you to roll over or whatever." And he was talking about his ex-wives and all that, and how the money, he doesn't really have the money anymore for his ex-wives. He spent it, most of it is going towards his mother's care. And she was like, "Okay, so anyways, what does Anna want you to do? Maybe you could go ahead and just do that and get her off your back." And he was like, "She wants me to turn on Valentine." She said, "Oh no." Honestly, it would be better for you just to get away. So she's gonna tell him, she told him goodbye because he's gonna leave. So then we see Maxie and Austin. So with Maxie and Austin, they are planning their trip to, are they pronouncing it Putluck? What is it called? Potluck? I don't know where they're going. But anyways, they are planning this trip, and it's supposed to be really great. He wants to get to know Georgie more. He was like, "She can't stand me." But anyways, they were having a good time, and then he gets a phone call and he's like, "Cancel everything." And it did seem a little weird because but I was like, "Maxie, you could clearly see that he was really into it." I still don't think these two have chemistry, but it's getting better. Does that make sense? Like, they don't have this chemistry where you're just like, "Oh, this is my favorite couple." It's, at least not for me, where I'm like, "Oh, this is my favorite couple." But it's not as bad as it was a few episodes ago. But anyways, he can't go. He tells her he can't make it, and he's sorry, but he wants to just focus on her because she said, "Oh, I'll go with you," or whatever. And he was like, "No, no, no. I just want to focus on you." So then Lucy comes through and he says, "Enjoy your time with Lucy," and Austin leaves. And so then Maxie and Lucy talk, and Lucy says, she just had to bid her love goodbye. And Maxie was like, "He's not telling me anything." And Lucy was like, "Well, Martin told me everything." She said, but Lucy does tell Maxie, "Are you afraid because you're ignoring a red? It feels like a red flag, and you're choosing to ignore that red flag." I said, "Nah, listen, Maxie, we don't have the best dating dating track record, okay? Besides Spinelli, you have some you have some issues with picking the right one and everything. So I don't know. I think if you've seen a red flag, listen to it." So then we pick up where we left off yesterday, and we see Sonny and Spencer. And Spencer says, "I just can't be a rat." He said, I made this mistake. I'm gonna man up and do it." And Sonny said, "You could get longer though," because Sonny was right. It was like, "Listen, you're not about this world, so go ahead and just turn yourself in or whatever." And he says, "No, I'm not gonna do that. What I'm gonna do is just stand up and do what's right, like answer for something that I did." And so Sonny says, "Okay, I'm going to try to protect you as much as possible while you're in there, but you just keep your head down and your mouth shut and just, do what you're supposed to do because it's not going to be easy." And he says, "I understand." And Sonny says, "You have my support." And he says, "I need you to, help Trina." And he says, "I'm already working on it." And he says, "Can you tell me how?" And, of course, Sonny didn't tell him, but that's it with that. So then Spencer talks to Martin, right? Because I guess Martin going to stop off here before he goes. And Martin says, I got you 10 days in Spring Ridge. That's a walk in a park, sir. That's a walk in the park, sir. You got 10 days." And he said, or DA Scorpio is going to give you 3 months. And I said, "Now, Robert, now, you didn't have to get this boy 10 months. I mean, 3 months, 3 months or whatever. You could have gave him his little month. A month was already bad enough. They said he wasn't gonna make it with a month, and y'all gonna give him 3. And he says my great uncle wants me to flip on my other great uncle. He said your grandma don't even like like Victor, and everything. Just go on and flip on him. But Spencer won't do it. He will not flip on Victor or whatever. And I said, if Victor got all this power and all that, why don't he get some protection in that prison for Spencer? Like with Sonny and Victor and all this protection that he's supposed to have. But I was relieved to hear that he's going to have 2 weeks before he has to go. Now, he signed the paperwork and everything, but he has 2 weeks before he has to go. So I'm thinking that something's going to come up so that he won't actually have to go. I hope so, because I don't want another whole thing that they did with Michael. I'm sorry. I don't want that again. That made me stop watching last time. I'm not going to even lie to you. I stopped watching until, it was a while before I watched again. All right. Then we have Jocelyn and Trina. And so Jocelyn and Trina are talking, and she tells her, I'm just trying to enjoy this day. Hey. And they see Dex coming out the pool, and she said, who is that? And Jocelyn's like, Dex. And so Dex comes over and he says hi to them. And she says, my name is Trina. And he was like, oh, Trina, I heard about you. I know your name. And she was like, oh. And he was like, no, only good things or whatever. And she was Joss was like, hi. And then so he leaves or whatever, because Joss was a little cold. And Trina said, who is that, Joss? And she said, he works for Sonny, girl. And so Trina was like, well, what did he know? Because he was telling her about, can we forget about yesterday? Something like that, about, when he was doing that to that juror. And Trina was like, what is he talking about? What about yesterday? What happened yesterday? Or whatever. And so, anyways, by this time, Dex called Sonny. So now Sonny's came over, and he says, I figured you want to talk to Jocelyn yourself. And Sonny was like, you're right. So then Sonny goes over to Trina and them, and he asks, could he speak to them? And they said, yeah, you could speak to details. Trina, go get you some lunch or whatever on me. She said, I'm not hungry. I said, Trina, get up. Get your butt up. And he said, well, then Dex gonna sit here and talk to you while I go and speak to Jocelyn. And he said, Jocelyn, is that okay? And Jocelyn just go get up. Oh, I swear she's just like Carly. And so he said, I know you, well, I'm aware of what happened with Dex. And she said, you tampered with a juror, you tampering with Trina's case with the juror, whatever. And he says, she was like, you could go to prison or get in trouble for that. And he was like, but I know you don't want to get Trina in trouble. And she was like, oh, I hate what you did to my mom, but thank you for helping my friend. And around that time, Dex and Trina were talking, and they were getting to know each other more. But then Trina gets a phone call, and it's Diane telling her, hey, the jury's it's a voicemail from Diane saying, hey, the jury's trying to reach a verdict soon. And so then we see that Dex tells Josh, you need to go over there to your friend. She needs your support. And so Sonny's like, what's going on, to Dex? And he says, it looks like the jury's about to reach a verdict. And Sonny says, well, we're going to see if your persuasion worked. And so excuse me, then we see that Trina and Jocelyn talk, and Trina's just like, I thought I had more time. And she's scared, y'all. And I swear, my goodness, if they don't get my girl off, I'm gonna be ticked. But anyways, let's move on. So then we see Rory. So Portia and Curtis trying to go over here and wake Oz up, but Rory and Jordan are there, and they're like, oh snap. And they said, they were like, Jordan said she has him under surveillance and all this, and Rory's gonna surveil him. Is it survey? No, hold on. Surveil. Yeah. So Rory's going to surveil him just to make sure nobody comes in and tries to do anything, because they're thinking about Esmond. You need to be thinking about Portia and Curtis. But anyways, so they speak to Rory and say, hi, Rory. I mean, Officer Cabrera and everything. And so Jordan realizes, oh, y'all done got close. Because, I mean, they know Rory's a good guy, and they realize he cares about Trina, right? So then Jordan says, I need to speak to you two. And so she tells them there's nothing you can do. And Jordan is, I mean, Portia's just like, I can, have somebody watch him and do this and, and look after him and everything. And Jordan said, why wouldn't you want him being under, like, somebody tried to harm him and he has evidence? Why wouldn't you want him under police protection? And Portia was just like, oh, I'm just not sleeping my mind, I'm sorry. And Jordan was like, no, I understand, or whatever. So that makes Curtis and Jordan and Portia talk, and they're like, oh man, we can't do it. And they was like, the timing seems off with this or whatever. They said, but we're running out of time and everything. And she's like, just let me do it. She said, because Rory will let me in that room, so just let me go ahead and do it. And he was like, no, Portia, I can't let you do it. So then Austin come in talking about, you see all the police here? Like, he happy go lucky. And then he was like, it seemed a little tense in here. And they were like, oh, sorry, the trial. And he was like, oh my gosh, I'm so, no, they said family matters. And he was like, the trial, I'm so sorry, or whatever. But for Curtis, it just made him say once again, see, this is exactly why we shouldn't do this. Like, you can't do this because everybody is watching this patient. And Austin just proved the point. Everybody's watching, because Austin said everybody's talking about it. They're a buzz and everything. And I said, yeah. So then Jordan goes and talks to Rory, and she said, sir, can you go ahead and can you be open-minded when it comes to this and be able to watch Oz and everything? Because, you're very close to Trina in this trial, and the DA Arden told me you went on you went to support Trina, and he said it was my off day, because Rory is not making no bones. He knew from when he was in that holding cell with Trina, not holding cell, what is that, interrogation room. He knew from there that Trina was innocent, and when he passed her that soda water or pop, however y'all say it, but when he passed her that soda, he knew she was innocent, and Rory has showed his support since then. So Jordan's like, all right, I put you here because I trust you. Am I gonna be able to trust you? And he was like, yeah, I'm good. And so then Austin goes and he talks to sorry y'all, sorry, I dropped my mic. So Austin goes and he tells Mason, I am on my way. Like, you got what you wanted, I'm coming back. My gosh. Anyway, so then Curtis and Curtis and Portia. Portia's just like, I'm gonna go in that room and you can't come with me and everything. And y'all, that was General Hospital today. Portia's about to go and try to save her daughter. Because she gets the phone call from Diane, and she's like, we have run out of time. There's no time left. We gotta wake Oz up. But anyways, that was General Hospital today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow for the final episode of the week. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.